Hello, friends. I've been invited by the Unity Church of El Cajon and Reverend Robert Bright to present this little talk to you about running to your goals. And it's my story about how I got into running, but it's a better story about how I reached goals, and the goals were very rewarding and satisfying. And by setting the goals, I really put myself in a position to be happier and healthier and more successful. So what I will endeavor to do in this presentation is give you my story, but more importantly, give you some steps that you can take that you probably already know about to reach your goals and create the life that you want for yourself. And I would want you to know it's never too late. And whatever adventures in life you've had, whatever successes and failures, highs and lows, it is always time to reevaluate where you are now and where you want to go and where you want to be for the next chapter of your life. And so hopefully I will present to you some guidelines and some helpful and inspirational information. And in order to do this, I have to tell you my story. But let's make an agreement and have an understanding that we're not talking about me and my story. That's just like the wrapping paper for the gift, which is for you to discover what your story shall be. So my story is about, it began on my 59th birthday. Now this was, I did the math here, 19 years ago. So you have to understand, that it was 19 years ago. And my wife, Virginia Foster, is the love of my life. And she's like a wonderful friend and lover and helper and companion. And she often guides me, as wives do to husbands, about what they should and shouldn't do and how they could improve. And I depend on her guidance and I appreciate it. And she says, Arthur, when you tell these stories that are 20 years old, it makes you look old. Well, this is very true. But this story began 19 years ago, and I'm now 78, but it started on my 59th birthday. And hopefully you'll get beyond the story to the principles that the story underlines. And while I was working out, we have a home gym with really nice equipment and a treadmill. And Virginia and my routine is that we walk fast, about 4 miles every morning. This gives us a great opportunity to be in touch with each other, plan our day, talk about things that we need to talk about while we're getting very important exercise accomplished. So we had yet to go on our daily run, and I was sitting in the gym. It was my 59th birthday. And I thought, in a year, I'll be 60. And that's a milestone birthday. What do I want 60 to look like for me? And realizing I have the power to decide what I want and then prayerfully ask for it, and then do what steps I know to accomplish it, and then incorporate surprise steps that need to be taken for its accomplishment, and keep moving forward. So I knew that if I said, what will my goals be, that it would require work, it would require dreams and vision, and it would require my undivided attention and diligence. So I said, okay, what do I want my 60th birthday to look like? And I knew that in 365 days from that moment, I would be stepping into a party at our home in our backyard with a little band to play country western music, and I would sing. And there would be great food, and there'd be about 60 guests, and also I knew that that would be about 35 gifts. And that if people were going to come and they were going to celebrate my birthday, they were going to give me a gift, I wanted to have something to give them in the way of how I looked and how I felt and how I appreciated them. And maybe if I could do something with this year, my 59th year, I could be an inspiration to them, and that would be a gift. And so it would also be a gift I could give to myself. So my vision was for the people at the party to say, and I would hear it and it would make me happy to say, "You don't look 60 to me." And then for them to also say, we know that you're a minister and you've made these accomplishments in your ministry, but also we understand that you are now, and then there was a big blank as to now you are blank. What could I do to fill that blank? So I said a prayer and I said, "Oh God," and it was an eyes wide open prayer. I said, "God, I need to do something in this new year that I've never done before to fill in this blank, something that will further my style and my uniqueness, my dreams, my capabilities, and my accomplishments." So, when you can, help me fill in this blank. I'll have my antenna up. So that I finished that time, my workout time, Virginia and I ran. I had a lovely birthday dinner that evening. And then in the next few days, as happens around birthdays, I had a physical exam, and I also went to my dentist for a checkup. And the hygienist, Carol, was there, and she was cleaning my teeth. And she does all the talking. I just sit there with my mouth open. And she said, "I just had the most wonderful weekend." I go, I was just, "What did you do?" And she said, "Well, I ran my first half marathon. It was 13.2 miles." And she said, "I trained for it and I did it. And I was kind of afraid of doing it. I didn't know if it would work out, but it did. And I got a t-shirt and a medal, and I was around all these other healthy and energetic people who were moving." And she said, it was just wonderful. And I'm going to do more. And I said, "Well, how did you find out about a race?" And I had no idea that there were races on the weekends. And she said, "Oh, there's this magazine called Race Place." And I said, "Where do you get that?" And she said, "Oh, you get it just down the street at the Moving Feet shoe store." And so she said, "You run every day with your wife. You'd love it." And she finished with my teeth. And I went to my car, and I can vividly remember putting my hand on the door handle to open the car and saying to myself, "I'd like to do that. I think that could be that blank that got filled in, become a runner. And so one of these days, I'll just go down there and I'll get that magazine." And then the part of me that had prayed the prayer, that had set the goal, that had determination and expectation, said to that lazy part of me, "Arthur, you get in that car and you drive those few blocks down to that shoe store and you get that magazine." So I did that. And while I was in there, the very thoughtful and helpful shoe salesman sold me a pair of shoes that were meant for running and my capabilities on my level, and told me that I should train, urged me to do one of the half marathons, gave me the magazine, and it was full of opportunities to run. Lots and lots of races all over Southern California. And the result of buying your entry into the race is that the money goes towards a charity and helps find a cure for something that's hurting people. And so not only do you run and get the exercise and develop your skills and abilities and build esteem, but also you're helping others. And of course, this is what we want to have in our goal. What can I do that will build my esteem and perhaps help me be an inspiration to others and be contributing to the well-being of the planet and the people on the planet. So I got the magazine. I registered for a race. It was going to be in a month. And I started running on with Virginia. We did our run together, but then I did a run for speed and diligence up of my hill in La Jolla, which is Torrey Pines Road. And I did extra miles, and I got up to 5 miles and then up to 6 and 7 and 10. And then I stayed at 10 and built up my endurance so that I could do 10 easily. And this was quite an accomplishment for me. During this time, I had dinner with my 2 sons who were in their 20s at the time. And I told them, I'm going to be in a race. I'm going to run a half marathon. And they said, Papa, do you take your ID with you when you go on these morning runs? And I said, no, I don't take identification. I don't think I'm going to need to go in any place and be identified. And they said, well, you might fall over or something. And I said, no way. They said, well, you're 60 or you're almost 60. I said, no, I'll be just fine. So we all had a chuckle out of that. And it did make me think. And that part of me that said, oh, you don't have to get out there in the cold morning air and do these runs, run 10 miles. You don't have to do that. That part reared its ugly head, and I had to go back to my goal that I was committed to and say, no way, I'm not going to allow that negativeness into the joy I get from knowing I'm accomplishing a goal. So I did my first race. It was a lot of fun. Those last 3 miles that I had never run that far before were easy because I was surrounded by healthy, energetic people of every age. And I knew my money was going for a cause. I knew I was going to get a t-shirt and a medal at the end and all kinds of goodies to eat, like apples and nuts and goodies to eat and drink that they award you with at the end of the race. And it was a wonderful experience and I was so grateful that I did that. Then I signed up for more. And over that year, I ran hundreds of miles. I got several t-shirts and ribbon medals and gained health, lost fat, and gained muscle and gained self-esteem that were very important for me to have. And I have no problem growing older, and a lot of people have a hard time when they reach the 60, and I didn't have, and I wasn't going to have in the first place. But it came time for my birthday, and it was on the morning of my birthday that I sat on my workout bench and did my weightlifting stuff that I do. And I knew I was going to go for a run with Virginia, and I was going to get dressed and be all ready in the evening for the dinner party that Virginia was having for me with the little band in our backyard. And so when I got to the party, the shape of my body had changed over the year. My energy level was higher. And I think I hope that I looked more alive than I usually looked or had looked in years before, because I was more alive. I was really moving and grooving with the running, and at the same time maintaining my career as a minister in a full-time ministry, Sunday mornings and weddings on the weekend and midweek classes and all the things that I do. So as I came to the party, I greeted all my friends, our guests, and they said, not all of them, but they said, you look great, and you look really alive, and you don't look 60. And we understand that now you are running. That was the blank that got filled in that I didn't know 365 days before that what would fill that blank. But I prayed the prayer believing that I would get the guidance to know what to do so that a year later I would be complimented on my success. And they said, now you're running. They said, we can't run across the living room to answer the doorbell. You really, we're really proud of you. You've really made quite an accomplishment. So that made me very happy. It was a payoff to my ego and my esteem. And I realized that the principles that I'm about to review for you, and I realized that I had reached my goal and to celebrate. And then the next day to start again on the next year or the next goal or my next desired accomplishments. So it wasn't that I would reach that and stop, but that would be momentum for me to keep going. So here are the steps that I think are important. And I think these steps are possibilities for you, and you can do this. And I did it. And if I can do it, you can do it. So here are the accomplishments. And thank you for listening to my story about how I used these ingredients. And then hopefully you got me out of the way so that you could see the possibilities that you can create. First of all, I set a goal. I prayed for guidance to accomplish that goal and for the strength to do each step that would be required to fulfill the goal. I put my goals in writing so that I could see them. And this is really important that you put your goals in writing. And after you've written them out, you can edit that and take out all the superfluous wording and get right down to the nitty gritty. And then you can take that list and it's polished by now and make copies of it and put it on your dressing room mirror and put it in your shirt pocket right over your heart because it's your heart's desire. And you can also put it in your notes on your phone so that when you have a moment, you can whip out your list and go over your goal and keep it at like the carrot right in front of you so that you see it and are absorbed by it at all times. The most successful, the most famous, the wealthiest people that have set goals and accomplished them and enjoyed their success never let their goals grow cold. They were alive and right in front of them at all times. And when you've put your goal in writing and you keep it right in front of you, that makes it so alive and makes you alive also. So establish a goal, ask God to help you find what it is that you can accomplish now. Ask for your heart's desire. I love the word desire. The D part of it comes from the Romance languages, meaning of thee, and sire comes from the horse world, meaning the father, the stallion of the colt. And so this desire means of the Father. And when you have a desire and it's burning within you, it's God's gift to you to say, you can do this or something better. And I've known people that have had the desire and they grew old and they didn't seem as though the desire was going to find fulfillment, but they let the desire burn through their doubt and their fear and their limitations, and they found a way to accomplish what they wanted to do. One example is I know a man who wanted to be an astronaut, but it was too late. And he didn't have enough years left if he lived to be 200 to get to satisfy all the requirements. And then who would want a 200-year-old astronaut? So, but he found that he could go to the San Diego Aero and Space Museum and volunteer and be around astronautical things. And sure enough, he had such an interest, and he was so outgoing and so adorable that they asked him to wear a spacesuit and climb in and out of the model of the um, uh, space capsule and teach children about how the exploring space. And so he actually became an astronaut, not a NASA, but a San Diego museum. And his dream came true. He got to wear a spacesuit every day because he didn't let age or anything else get in the way of his burning desire. So know that your desire is of the Father, and it can come true for you in ways that you can imagine if you open your imagination to the unlimited possibilities that Spirit has for you. Then you have your goal in writing. You know what your goal is. You know what you're going to do to accomplish your goal, which is everything you can. You're going to do all the work. You're going to give all the time. You're going to keep your goal alive, and you're going to keep your senses available so that whenever an opportunity to enhance your progress comes about, you can seize the opportunity and keep going. Then you also want to have a plan of what that goal that you're setting looks like. And hear the compliments, hear the success, hear yourself say, I did it. And then you want to know how you'll give back to the universe for blessing you the way it has. Maybe you'll volunteer, maybe you'll serve, maybe you'll be a more active person in the organizations that you're a part of. Maybe you'll be kinder and more loving. Maybe you'll be an inspiration or a tutor to someone else just by being your best and doing what you can do. So I hope that this little story and this time together has been inspiring to you. I hope that you can see that you can set goals, you can put a time on them for fruition. You can put those goals in writing, and you can do everything you can every day to meet the goal. And you can also depend on the universe to come to you with ideas that will promote your growth and help you find the way to reach that goal. And then as it happens, you want to give the glory to the source. And the source is life. The source is God's presence. The source is spirit. The source is the universe unfolding for all of us the way it loves to do. I hope you've enjoyed this time together. I've enjoyed it, and happy running to you.
I'm gonna sing when the Spirit says sing. I'm gonna sing when the Spirit says sing. I'm gonna sing when the Spirit says sing, and obey the Spirit of the Lord. I'm gonna shout when the Spirit says shout. I'm gonna shout when the Spirit says shout. I'm gonna shout when the Spirit says shout, and obey the Spirit of the Lord. I'm gonna pray when the Spirit says pray. I'm gonna pray when the Spirit says pray. I'm gonna pray when the Spirit says pray, and obey the Spirit of the Lord. I'm gonna work when the Spirit says work. I'm gonna work when the Spirit says work. I'm gonna work when the Spirit says work, and obey the Spirit of the Lord. I'm gonna sing when the Spirit says sing. Gonna sing when the Spirit says sing. I'm gonna sing when the Spirit says sing, and obey the Spirit of the Lord, and obey the Spirit of the Lord, and obey the Spirit of the Lord.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.